This is the Strength Matters podcast. If you're new to the show, great to have you here. Please make sure to subscribe and review. That way we can reach more people and push this little old podcast higher up the podcasting charts. And if you haven't yet subscribed or reviewed, we'd highly appreciate it if you could. With me, as always, is my co-host, James Breeze. James, how are you doing today? How was your Easter weekend?
It was great, thank you. Topped off by a marvellous win by the mighty Wrexham, who everyone now knows across the pond. Yeah. Everywhere else, it's been,
everyone's new favourite second team.
Exactly, it's great. It's so funny seeing him now, like everywhere. Like as a Welshman who grew up near Wrexham, let's put it this way, right?
Yeah.
Like seeing Wrexham on the TV. Like Ryan Reynolds just bought a house near Wrexham now as well.
Yeah, he's somewhere. He got a house in Wales now, hasn't he? Down the road.
Yeah. Exactly. Like it's put Wales on the map. Finally, Americans will know where Wales is because of Ryan Reynolds and Wrexham.
Yeah, absolutely. It
was good.
No, it was a cracking game, wasn't it? And the drama, you can't recreate that drama. Nothing can.
I know.
You know
97 minutes.
Blooming 3-2 with a last-minute penalty to Notts County that they then go and miss. Well, great save by Ben Foster, actually. To be fair, mental, crazy game.
But it's so good. Like, it's going to be such a good script for next. Like, hopefully Wrexham will go up now, but the next season, Welcome to Wrexham, is going to be such a good little show of the whole season, coming down to that one game. It's brilliant.
Are they still filming Welcome to Wrexham?
Yeah. It's a constant thing every year. They're filming it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, they're the longest serving team in the National League, aren't they? Is it 20 years or something they've been in? 15 years?
It's the third oldest team in soccer team for those Americans.
No, but what I mean is they've been in the National League without getting promoted back for the
15
longest
years.
time. 15 years.
15 years.
Yeah.
15 years. So.
Well, good luck to Wrexham. It's going to be close, but fingers crossed they'll do it. Definitely.
Exactly. Fingers crossed.
Definitely.
Anyway,
5 games to go. Other than that, you'll be pleased to know my car's got oil in it. There's some news for you. It was dry as a bone this morning. I nearly blew up my engine, so that's good.
Congrats,
And
Josh.
what else did I do? I did rotisserie leg of lamb on the barbecue this weekend for Easter. It was fantastic. It was good.
Brilliant. And don't forget, Man United beat Everton 2-0. Just
Man United beat Everton 2-0.
There you go. Couple of
Yeah, just had to get that one on there, didn't you? Eh?
I had to. But I'll leave it at. I think Wrexham we can come together with and support together. But Man United and Everton will always separate us.
Indeed. Anyway, we should probably stop waffling on and talk about what the T-shaped coach is. James, go on. What is the T-shaped coach? Because I imagine people in the fitness world won't really have any idea.
Hopefully not, but hopefully this will change their life forever. That's a bit dramatic, but let's see how it goes. But no, look, it's pretty exciting actually, because this weekend we're teaching the HCP, the Hybrid Coaching Program. It's the first ever kind of like hybrid coaching program event. We've done the previous event before Christmas, which was like the stepping stone to this, and it's the pre-launch of the certification we're now doing, which is called the Hybrid Coaching Professional, coming out in May. We're getting together with a load of trainers we've worked with before, people sign up as well, to come together and put everything into place, ready for us. So when we start filming, we know it's all working, and it's like people want to listen to it basically. So one of the concepts we are going to talk about is this idea of a T-shaped coach. So what I want you to do is at home, there will be show notes. And if you are watching on the old YouTube now, because we're now on YouTube with our podcasts.
How's my hair? Is it?
Hair looks beautiful.
Probably should have had a bit more of a shave.
Yeah, not saying, but hey. No, but I want you to imagine this idea of a T, right? Capital T. And at the top, right, is your what we call the breadth of knowledge that you have as a coach, right? It's the top here. Then the bottom, the vertical side of things of the T is what we call the depth of knowledge that you have, right? So the idea of the T-shaped coach is a lot of people sometimes specialize too early. But what we're trying to get across to people is we need to have a broad breadth of knowledge across the top before we start to specialize, right? So I'll give you an example here now. Like it's a lot of people want to become specialist performance coaches. They want to become specialist movement experts, whatever you want to call it. But they haven't got the breadth of knowledge on all the other side of things that make up this T-shaped coach. For example, to be a really good rehab coach, let's just use that as an example. You need to know what strength training is all about. You need to know what cardio, mobility, flexibility, right? These things. But at the same time, you need to have good behavioral skills, abilities, coaching skills, maybe nutritional and lifestyle guidance, because that affects how you rehab somebody too. Whereas if you just go on to like treating somebody on the table, you're not going to have that breadth of knowledge. Now that's on the right side of the T, as we call it, and we'll go through the T in more detail in a second. But then you have the left side of the T, which is this idea of being good at business. And it's something that a lot of coaches miss out on. And together, this idea of a coach is like you need to have this breadth of knowledge, right, first, before you really start specializing it. And then when you start to specialize, you only have 1 to 3 areas that you work on, and that's your area of focus. Now, why is that important? Because you have a specialty that people will come to you for, but you can do all the other stuff as well with it. But when you're working in a team, let's say here at Strength Matters, and this is where the idea came about, is that your teammates can complement each other with their specialities. Using you and me as an example right now is like when we think about the T. Let's go through the T first. So the top of the T.
Yeah, I was going to say give everyone what the top of our T is.
Yeah,
because it is going to be slightly different for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So like think of this in general terms to begin with, right? So you want to imagine the middle of that capital T, the middle of the vertical, right? And if you go to the show notes, you'll see an image of this. We have like health and fitness. It's a very broad topic. It's done deliberately to be this broad because there's lots of things you can go down this. You could be an expert in functional training. You could be an expert in Olympic lifting, corrective exercise, plyometrics, sports performance, rehab, any of these things. It's an unlimited list you can go down that list with. It could be bodybuilding, it could be like physique goal, whatever it is. It's a whole load of stuff here. There's lots of elements within fitness you could become specialists with. And you need to have a good depth of basic things along here, and you can keep adding to these skills. So that's the middle of the T. Then if you go to the right side first, you have what we call, then the next part is nutrition and lifestyle, right? Where you can become specialists in that area. Then you can have coaching skills, and then you have psychology and behavior, because they all complement this idea of being a well-rounded and great coach. Now, you can't be experts in everything, but you can choose certain areas. For example, we've chosen to go down the health and fitness thing, but we have great ideas and concepts of what happens with nutrition and lifestyle, coaching skills, and the behavioural skills, right?
Yeah.
Now, if we're to grow the Strength Matters team as an example now, like we could be looking at somebody who's a specialist in nutrition and lifestyle. They may not be a specialist in health and fitness, but they could have a general overall view. But then it may be a specific dietitian or nutritionist that comes to the team that complements the team we're having. We could then have psychology behavioural experts coming into the team as well, who still have an overall view of health and fitness, but they specialise in this, and it starts to build and complement the team, right? And the same ways, if you're, let's take another example. Say you're not a personal trainer or a strength coach. Say you're a nutritionist or a dietitian. What if you built your skills out from just like more health and fitness so you can complement your skills and offer more services? So it becomes a more rounded approach with it. So this is the idea of the right-hand side of the T, and like being solid in the middle. Choose your middle. That's health and fitness. For most personal trainers it is. But if you're a nutritionist, you could put the nutrition side of things in the middle and then specialise to the right after that. Yeah. Right? But then for each of these little boxes and squares, you want to start adding layers of components and like improving your skills. Once you get to a certain threshold, you can add certain things. Now, this is not a new concept in terms of the T-shaped, the coach. I've stolen this idea quite blatantly from marketing. They've had this idea of the T-shaped marketer for years, right? And that's the idea of in marketing. You want to have like a broad knowledge of all these wonderful things and then specialize in certain areas. So when you build an ad agency or like a marketing agency, you have these ideas of you can be somebody who's an expert in Google AdWords, but they know Facebook marketing. Then you have somebody who's a Facebook marketing expert, but just knows a little bit about Google AdWords. Then you have somebody who's a TikTok marketing expert that ties into everything else, and it all becomes a complement. And that's been around for years. I think it's a great concept, and I have stolen this idea from them to put it together for the coach. And that was quite a few years ago. And this is what we've been developing behind the scenes here. So when we want to get people to build the team at Strength Matters, or Cricket Matters as well, our sister company, we're looking for this idea of developing the T-shaped coach, where they have a good sense of breadth of knowledge, but we're looking for people who specialise in certain areas or who want to specialise in certain areas to complement the team so we can continue this idea of working together. Now, let's take me and you as a good example for this, right? Yep. And this is just on the right-hand side of the T, right? So talking about the health and fitness side of things. So I would say that my speciality and my forte is along the strength training and the cardio side of things, right? I did a lot of rehab things, but it's not my speciality anymore. I have a good overall view of it, but I don't specialize in it. Whereas I would say that you, Josh, like for you, it's your speciality is like the idea of like nutrition and lifestyle behavior coaching, along with rehab, because you're really passionate about that. And you also, I think you said off air, like fat loss as well is one of your things you love looking at now at the moment too.
I think so, yeah. Like I said,
Exactly.
and similar to you, obviously, I work in the strength training and do the cardio, but certainly like cardio, you are have much more depth of knowledge in that than I do. I'm often picking your brains in terms of that. Absolutely.
But likewise, vice versa, I'm picking your brains on the rehab side of things. I have a good overall view of it, and I know what's happening. But for now, when I'm working a program for somebody, I'll come to you first. Hey, Josh. So it's a collaborative effect. So we're complementing each other as a team, and that's what we're trying to have. This idea of this T-shaped coach where it's balanced here, specialty. You don't specialize in 1 to 3 areas. I think that's a good idea, but have a good generalist overview of everything else here. So that's where we're coming with this, and it's a great way, and it helps us write better programs, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So we tend to put programs together, then we start bouncing ideas off each other and go, look, this is what's happening here.
So it's always good to have a perspective, as an alternative perspective as well. Say, what do you think of this? And the other person can shoot in a couple of ideas, and maybe you take it, maybe you don't. But yeah, it's good to get somebody else's expertise as well.
Absolutely, and it's formed as part of our system of training, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So we have the whole hierarchy and everything comes together. This is the whole idea of is complementing teams. Now, there's lots of layers to this. Like I think imagine a personal trainer who first starts out. So I'm a big believer in this. Is that taking the idea of the T-shaped coach, you put a brand new trainer wants to focus on the right hand side first, and then creating a depth in a couple of key areas. However, what I tend to see is that most trainers never leave this right-hand side of becoming a T-shaped coach. Like they just have like more of an upside-down L. I think that's the best way to describe it. They become experts and specialists in training and coaching, right? Or maybe super specialists in certain areas, but they don't build this breadth of knowledge. And I think for the first 1 to 2 years as a new coach, you need to have that foundation of this breadth of knowledge and specialising in a couple of key areas. Now, what they don't realise is that they've got to focus on the other side of the T, which is the business stuff. And what we call it here now is call it the admin and finance, sales and marketing, and staff and operations, right? That's the area.
Well, I can agree with that 100% because that side, when I was, working as a one-to-one trainer and stuff, I had no clue on any of that. I think I got a little bit more knowledge when I worked for Military Fitness, when I became a part manager and I had to do more business side of stuff, and obviously, and then very much, being part of Strength Matters, learning that side of things from you, I would say.
Well, and that's the thing, isn't it? It's not, they complement each other. It's nothing you should be scared of. And we're not saying you should become experts in business, but you need to have a good understanding. I see so many coaches and trainers outsource their marketing because they don't know what it is or how to do it, and it's kind of the wrong way to go about it. I think there is a reason to outsource a lot of stuff. However, if you don't know the process at the start, you're never going to know what they're doing behind the scenes to make it work, and you could be wasting your money. And I see so many. Let's take this idea of business coaches in the fitness world. Like, how many times do you see ads every day selling people's business services and marketing services?
It's all over my Facebook timeline. Yeah,
it's horrendous. It's disgusting. Like half the time. And they're all like, now it's online coaching. It's like, how to become an online coach? You need to do this, that, and that, and the other. It's like, no, hang on a second. And I'll be very clear here now. Let's just say this on the podcast categorically. If someone's trying to teach you how to sell online coaching right now by Facebook marketing, they don't know what they're doing, because it's almost near on impossible to sell directly to online coaches and get online coaching at the moment in that space. It's so hard. In person, it's very different, right? You can definitely do that. And there's good friends of ours, Ben Davis, and their marketing agents, say the same thing. They see this all the time. So like, the idea is this, is that you can't do it. So don't listen to them. I'll say it here. We spend zero money on advertising for getting online clients. Zero. That's just to give you an idea. And I spent hundreds of thousands of pounds on marketing in the past, right? We don't do it. But to know that, you need to have a grasp of concept of what is basic marketing and sales, for example. So again, using you as an example, you're not an expert, are you, Josh? It's not something you're interested in. But what do we talk about a lot behind the scenes here? We talk about basic things and principles that align with our core goals of helping clients, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All the time, because the more people, the better the business model is, the more people we can help long term, and the more secure you feel in the job as well, as a good example, right? And it all feeds back to helping people long term. So you need to have these ideas on the left hand side as basic things. Don't need to be experts unless you want to grow and scale your company, because that comes a turning point too. But the idea is breadth of knowledge, right? And then you focus on your depth of knowledge afterwards. And this depth, this T-shape can be, you can get thicker and thicker and thicker and bigger and bigger and bigger, right? So you can get to a stage where you're really good at the breadth of knowledge on certain areas, and you go, crap, I need to add some more stuff to this on nutrition, or like I need to add some more stuff to the fitness side of things.
You ultimately become the rectangular shaped coach.
Yeah, almost, a little bit like that. But then you still keep growing that middle section, because we're still fitness coaches at the end of the day. Like, for example, right now, I'm developing my middle of my T in fitness. I'm very much looking at speed development, right? Because of the work we're doing with the cricketers we're working with. Like how to develop speed and change direction. So I've gone really back into specialising and doing some courses about this. And learning all about it, how to develop speed and to change direction, because it's something that I haven't specialised in before. I've had awareness of it, but never specialised in it, and that's becoming my speciality on top of the cardio and the strength side of stuff right now. Yeah. So it's this idea of this T-shaped coach, right? We always never stop learning, but make sure we're breadth of knowledge before we specialise, and make sure we focus on the business side of things as well as the fitness side of things once we have that basic knowledge, right? And this is, again, most people listen to this are 5 years experience anyway, when we're talking to coaches. But again, when I speak to those coaches, after 5 years, you already got a good grasp on basic health and fitness, right? I think it's fair enough to hear. My question to you is, what about the business side of things? How much we
I would say
there?
if you have survived that long, you've probably got some business acumen, because we know average, lifespan of a new trainer is 18 months. About 18 months, because they struggle to get clients. They struggle with that business side, the financial, they actually gaining clients and stuff. So you got to work on that side of things at least a little bit initially. Otherwise, you will burn out and you won't last very long.
Oh, exactly. Well, the attrition rate of brand new personal trainers is 18 months. Like if you're lucky. So, but again, there's this idea of like. I keep going back to the phrases. You laugh at me when I keep saying this, because we've said it a lot recently. But most trainers feel tired and trapped in their business, and they haven't got the flexibility and freedom to go and do the stuff that they love doing, because they're like trapped in their business. This is why we've created the hybrid program. It's the idea is like you need to have the business side of things, understand where you're going to be able to develop that and to give you that the freedom you kind of crave long term to get you to where you want to get to. And that's where you think you need to have a look at your T. Like go to the show notes. There's an article coming out in the magazine this month as well. And it goes more in depth into it. But you need to work out on the T where you're shallow. Where haven't you got the good basic knowledge first, and go and work on that some more before you start to build it out.
Have you got? Because I think the right hand side, the nutrition, coaching, psychology, etc. I think most trainers would have good ideas of people to go to. For that, to learn from that. A lot of good people out there, like nutrition, for instance, precision nutrition, fantastic. But the left-hand side is more difficult, because as you say, on Facebook, you've got all these charlatans trying to sell you business coaching. Do you have anyone that you would recommend they could potentially look at going to? I'm putting you on the spot there, James.
Put me on the spot a little bit, and it's hard to define what you want to go for. Now, a lot of people I listen and learn from, they're selling a lot of products, because we sell a magazine, we sell like books and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff I'm learning from that, because it's very unique to what we do as well. Yes, let's talk about the Strength Matters business model in the first place. How do we get online clients? How do we market to online clients? Well, I'll tell you this now. We market our books and our magazines, and we market the community.
Yeah.
Our goal is to get people into the community by selling our books to them and selling the magazine, getting the magazine to take a trial out, so they come into the community and then they can see what we're all about and then come to try us. Because it's harder to sell online. In person, it's a straightforward thing.
Yeah.
Like, I need training. Where's the closest gym to me? They look pretty cool. Come on in.
Yeah.
It's that's essentially the model. Like, most people go to the gym within 1 kilometre or 1 mile of their house.
Yeah.
That's important to understand. But online, it's very different. They've got to trust you. They've got to know and like you. So they listen to the podcasts. They read our blogs, watch our videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
They read our books. So I'm learning stuff from those guys. So a really good book to read is .com Secrets from Russell Brunson.
Cool. Yep.
Who's
I was going to say maybe
ClickFunnels.
Russell Brunson is a good person for people to look at.
Yeah, I think his book, .com Secrets, right, is exceptional. I think that's a really good way to start thinking about the ladders and like scaling people up into doing it. That's a really good way, but it's not always necessarily useful for training or online coaching in some respects. But it has good principles, which is the breadth of knowledge you need at
exactly.
the top,
It's
right?
all about the principles to follow, and then apply them to the health and fitness side of things, health and training industry. But also, as you say, it's getting yourself out there a bit more, whether that is on podcasts, doing your own podcasts, or doing more YouTube videos, exercise, something on TikTok, to helping people with a specific strength training issue or rehab issue or movement issue, or how to do 10 pull-ups or whatever it is, just getting your face out there, capturing emails, capturing people's interests, and then growing it that way. That you have to do that, don't you?
It is. It's hard. That's that's gonna be a
whole
separate
podcast.
The thing is, here's a good thing, because we're now doing like coaches and trainers. We can pull business experts into this now, can't we? So we can pull them on and start talking to people about this and sharing this more in depth. So yeah, absolutely, we will do this actually. But again, if I think about what we're doing with the hybrid coaching program, it's like, well, that certification is designed to help coaches become the T-shaped coach. If I'm being brutally honest, right, I want to develop, like, we started doing the HCP only because we're at a point now where we want to start scaling our business at Strength Matters, and we need more coaches. Yeah. So we need more coaches, and we're creating the HCP as a system to teach coaches what we do.
It was always like
in
the background, like we were talking, like how do we get a coach on board? Well, we'd have to teach them our whole system so that they're speaking the same language as us. Well, there we go. Well, this is how we're teaching lots of trainers our system. So then we have potential options for bringing people in. Absolutely, and that's exactly why we're doing it, along various different ways. But I think, to do that, we're going to be teaching the top of the team. That's what we're going to do. We're going to teach the health of the system. We're going to teach the health of the business side. We're going to teach some of the coaching skills. It's to become, the most comprehensive hybrid coaching program we have. And hybrid coaching to us is literally, it's no different from personal training, online training. It's all together. Yep. That's the concept, and we'll talk about that more in depth again in another podcast. But that's how we do our model. That's what we're trying to build. So there's T-shaped coaches we're trying to develop, as well as help other coaches work with their clients and their teams as well, to get this generalist idea, and then they can specialize in certain areas after. Yeah. But to do that, they need to become a T-shaped coach and have a system and a framework to work with that everyone talks in different. Like Peter Attia says it really well in his new book Outlive. I'd love to get him on the podcast, actually. Yeah, that'd be cool.
I think we will for many years.
He stole all our ideas, right?
He did. It's so funny. But the way he describes it is like, he describes his idea of like objective, strategy, and tactics. So what we're doing is we're giving people the strategy, which is our frameworks to work with. The tactics are irrelevant because that's the exercises you do. And I'll write a program different to how you write a program, to how Joe Bloggs write a program. That's good. But we're working towards the same framework. I was going to say, we hang it on a framework, though. Yeah, that's it. That's our strategy. Yeah. That's our strategy. And the objective depends on what people come to us with. Are they injured? Are they hurt? Do they need to get stronger? Do they need to get fitter? Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. But that's the strategy in the middle. And that's what we're trying to work with here. So but that's what the HEP is all about, basically. It's trying to give people that broad breadth of knowledge with some specialities in the middle, so they can go and specialise on their own and develop this idea of this to have more freedom and become a hybrid coach, basically. Yeah. That's what we're trying to do. Exactly.
Anything you want to add to that before we wrap up? Because obviously, when this podcast comes out, we'll have already done the HCP in Essex, and people will have missed out. So if they do want to find out more about how to become a T-shaped coach or the HCP itself, where should they go?
Honestly, download our system, go to strengthmanners.com/system, get our system of coaching. That's the starting point here. And I'd highly recommend just like upgrading and becoming part of the inner circle. I think that honestly, like it's, we have beer and pretzels every week. We have client case studies every week with all the coaches coming together. It's a fun place to be a part of. I'm really enjoying it. I really am.
Beer and Pretzel Friday is going to be probably live from either your car or a service station on the way down to Essex.
Yep. It is this week. And it's cool. And shout out to Travis Sisko as well, actually, who listened to the Kelly and Juliet podcast recently. Yep. He wants to be part of Beer and Pretzel, so yep, you can. It's all part of the inner circle, mate. So there we go. That's how it works. But no, that's the best way to come along. And there's also, have we done a video yet? No, not. We're doing one next week in the case study about the T-shaped coach. So there's a more in-depth video module in the inner circle next week on how to become this and what we're thinking about it in these terms. And for those on the HCP, I'll be teaching you this very soon.
I was going to say, we'll be teaching it very much in depth on the HCP. Everything we talk about will be taught on the HCP.
So too. But I think just bear in mind, I think that most people have a very lopsided T-shaped coach principle. They're very lopsided on the terms of health and fitness, not very balanced out with the business side of things. And they specialise in so many different things. They're not focusing on 1 or 2, 3 areas. And to find your 1 or 2, 3 areas, what are you passionate about? I'm passionate about strength training and cardio, and also performance in some respect, which is the plyometrics type stuff. We're all different, but then if you're a gym owner,
I think it changed over the years as well, because if we'd recorded this podcast a few years ago, we would have said our speciality is kettlebells, right? It changes over the years, doesn't it? So,
yeah, exactly. So that's more tactics, isn't it? Kettlebells are more tactics in terms of the strategy. Yeah. So whereas go down here now, it's funny how things change over time. But it's cool. But anyway, I'll tell you, that's a good point. Actually, thinking live on here, we can broaden our horizon on terms of guests for the podcast.
Yeah.
So we will. I'll find some good business people to speak to and bring them on. How about that?
Fantastic, absolutely, and help us increase our knowledge of business, especially me. That's my left side. That's my weakness as well. So yeah, working on that. And by side note, before we wrap up today, if you've got ideas for guests on the podcast, because we're doing a big effort now on getting guests back on here every week, let us know. We're trying to get Mike Boyle probably coming on soon. We've got Perry Nicholson coming back on. Are we getting Mike Boyle on?
Lee Burton, Greg Cook. I haven't told you that yet.
No, you haven't told me that yet. I look forward to that one.
There you go. See what's going on. All sorts happening.
Brilliant.
All sorts happening.
Yeah, as James said, any suggestions, any comments, feedback, please leave them below, because this is on YouTube. Oh, it's all exciting now.
Exactly.
And we look forward to reading it and getting back to you. And who knows who we're gonna have on in the future. It's exciting.
There we go. Cool. Thanks, guys.
No, thanks. Nothing else to add.
No, that's it today.
Come on, Wrexham. There you go. That's all we'll say at the
end.
Because I can't, Everton, who wants to talk about them? We've just got to talk about Wrexham from now on.
Exactly. Done. Deal. They're Welsh as well.
Oh, mate, I'll tell you what, this weekend, actually, while I'm going to be checking my phone intermittently while Everton are playing, because it's a massive game. Fulham at home. We've got to win it. Got to win it.
Good luck.
Don't need to add any more to that. Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening and for watching. Until next time.